Ahoy! Welcome back to another episode of The Captain's Log. My name's Rixley. I'm a systems thinker and strategic designer. And this is my weekly vlog podcast to just kind of share what I've been up to each week and share with you guys my learnings as I grow and develop in my content creation, in my business, and in some of the projects that I've been working on. The last couple of weeks, I have been following the DOGE story, the Department of Government Efficiency, and I did put a couple of episodes out where I kind of went through and laid out all of the government departments and agencies. And I'm just going to park that for now. I will keep up to date with that story as it goes. And now I've got that resource there that I can add to and talk more to once that project gets moving. I think that'll get going from January 20th when the new government comes into power on the 20th of January. So let's see what happens there. But I did learn a lot through that process. And what I learned is that I do tend to throw myself into things. And I actually just spent so much time on working on that and putting that all together and getting an understanding of that whole project. And in doing so, I kind of went off course with the Captain's Log a little bit. And I think if I'm going to do that again, if I'm going to make those Doge episodes, what I'll do is I'll actually maybe do it separate to these logs, because the purpose of these, and I need to come back to that, is really to leave some breadcrumbs for somebody who might find these in some years' time once I've hopefully developed and grown and moved on in my career from these videos here. Hopefully they'll get better. I'm trying to improve things week by week. The lighting, I've just tried to work on my lighting. It's not quite right, actually. If you see the video, it's there's still a little bit of shade there, and I haven't got it quite right, but I'm trying to make little incremental changes and little improvements as I go each week. So that was my first learning. So what I have been doing in these podcasts up until I started going on to the Doge content was putting out 3 things that I learned that'll help me make better decisions next week, and 5 things that went well. So that was the first learning, is that I kind of went off course. I threw myself into that, and then I got burnt out just in terms of like the amount of content that I was making, because I'm also cutting up some podcasts right now. And then I didn't put something out last week because I was just exhausted. I'd also traveled to Sydney, was out of my regular routine. So I ended up not posting a Captain's Log last week. And so here I am doing it this week. So I need to stay. This is the whole thing. It's about learning the discipline, getting the reps in, and flexing the content creation, shipping stuff weekly on schedule, on time. And I kind of messed up last week. So that is something that I need to rein in, and something that I'm working on. But in saying that, I have released a podcast last week. I hadn't released one in a few months, so I have put one out last week, which is a really great episode with Theme Rains, who's the founder of Synthesis Organics, and really incredible. I interviewed her at the Four Seasons Hotel, where she's got some of her products there, and her products are amazing. It's all done using alchemy and biogeometry and everything like that. So super interesting conversation with Theme that's now live on the Design on Purpose YouTube channel, so you can go and check that out there. And then I've just cut up the next episode with Will Adamy, which I'm going to release on Wednesday this week, and then I've got another few episodes in the pipeline. So I'm fully just editing podcasts at the moment, getting out all this content that I've got sitting on my hard drive here. And I look forward to sharing those with you guys. I got another one that I'm editing now with Amy Rainbow Skates, which is really cool too. She's a professional roller skating coach, so it's really cool. I just interviewed her, actually. She was my neighbor just across the hallway here. So that's the first thing. The second thing I learned is around systems, and how systems makes things so much easier. I was really hesitant in editing up these podcasts because of the amount of time that it takes. And what I was doing is I was storing them, and I was hoping to ship them off to an editor to get cut for me once I'd had 10 episodes. But the problem with that is that it's way too long between when I interview the person and when I ship the content, then you kind of lose some of the context and the relevance of what we spoke about. So I'm now just churning them out, and I've actually just created a system where I've made a template folder with my Premiere project with all my typefaces and all my settings all set up. So now I can just like copy and paste the folder with the subtitles and everything like that. So it's actually like not such a bad thing. Actually, it's actually getting a lot faster for me because I've developed systems around my content and my video editing. So that's something that you can apply across the board to your business. Like, you know, if you can automate something, if you can improve a process, or you can implement a system, it's going to stop a repetitive task, or it's going to make something a bit more easy. It's definitely worth slowing down, taking the time to actually develop that system or that SOP or whatever it is, so that you can, you're not wasting time consequentially on the next versions of that task. So it's sometimes better just to slow down, to speed up, get the thing packaged up in a nice little template or system. So you've got that there, and then you can, you've got it so you can implement it for the next time, and it does save time in the long run. So that's my second learning, which is something I already knew, but I've just started building these systems for my podcast. And editing takes so much time, guys. Like the beauty of this podcast, and the reason I've set this up like this, is that it's one camera. Now I've got a couple of lights. It's still, the lights, like I said, still not quite right. But at least I can just get the camera, get the audio, sync it up. It's very minimal editing. I'm not making reels out of these yet. And I can just ship it. I can get it out within an hour, probably, like most of the time. And it's, that's the whole purpose of this thing, is that I can stay in contact with you guys. I can ship out some content weekly. You can follow the journey, and it's super easy for me to do. So, systems. And the third thing, and this is something that I do know, I read a lot of Buckminster Fuller stuff. I'm really into systems thinking, but it's really around the change that's going on in the world. And what I'm starting to realize more and more is that it's really important to be a generalist, like a really good generalist, and maybe even more so than that, a generalist who's adapting and learning AI skills. And when we look at like history, and we look at like what's happened in the world, and we look at major extinction events, let's just take like the dinosaurs, for example. When the dinosaurs, like when the asteroid hit and the dinosaurs were struggling looking for food, it wasn't the specialists, like the carnivores or the herbivores or the ones that required that specific type of food that survived. It was actually the generalists, like the little mammals that could scavenge and deal with whatever was available to them. You look at an animal like a panda, for example, and they've developed these kinds of thumbs that are specialized for eating bamboo. And that's probably a very good survival tactic, because bamboo is very readily available. It grows really quickly. It's in abundance. But what would happen if that bamboo was no longer around? That panda would be in big trouble, because it's a specialist relying on that type of food. And that is what we are seeing right now in the world with AI. And we're seeing specialist jobs, like legal jobs, or like financial services and things like that. People who are specialists at a particular thing will probably get replaced by AI. And so the best thing to do, like if we can learn from what's happened in previous extinction events, is to actually become a generalist, learn, adapt. And that's what humans are really good at. We can build tools. We can survive in any kind of climate, or because we make clothing, or we make things or environments, habitats, things that will actually allow us to navigate that terrain and live in that environment. So that's the kind of attitude that I'm really kind of integrating and taking on with this whole change that's going on in the world. And I think that, being a designer and someone who's, creative and kind of receptive to change. I've been working in a lot of these fast-paced industries. I think I naturally have a tendency to do that because I love to explore, in my learning and learn new things and keep up with the times, so to speak. It's an interest of mine just to know, find new tools and learn new things all the time. So I think like it's not safe really to be just like stagnant and stuck in your ways. It's like you've got to learn, you've got to adapt, you got to embrace these tools. They're around, they're here to stay. Learn how to use them. And there's actually a lot of opportunity in that too, because you can take certain skills that you've had in your career, your lifetime, and you can actually use these AI tools to start building new tools that, basically pack up your knowledge and or processes or some kind of system, and you can ship that as a digital product. So there's a lot of opportunity in all this change as well. It really depends how you look at it. So I just think, it's interesting. I've been watching a lot of stuff on this whole new AI revolution that's been going on. It's like, like some people are calling it like a gold rush. There's a lot of people making money. I saw there was like some video I watched about this young kid, who's making millions of dollars a month because he made an app that when you take a photo of your plate of food, it kind of counts the calories using AI, and it gives you a calorie count of what's on your plate. And these tools now, there's even apps and websites that you can even just write what you want to create, and it will actually make the tool for you. It's pretty wild. So five things that went well. Back to the regular format. I traveled to Sydney and worked on a strategy retreat with a client. That was pretty cool. Nice to visit back to Sydney. Go for a swim on Bondi Beach, and I'm still on the meal plan. Still doing very well with my health, making gains. Definitely just improving my posture and my movement a little bit each week. The next thing is I improve my lighting. Well, I'm getting there. Still a little bit shadow here, but the lighting is something that I definitely want to get right for these podcasts, improve the experience. And I've edited some podcasts, and I've just, like I said, I just launched that Theme Reigns podcast. Do check it out. The reels I'm putting through on the Design on Purpose Instagram channel. And I'm slowly building subscribers on the Design on Purpose podcast. So if you don't already subscribe to Design on Purpose podcast, do go over there, check out the pods. I've put a lot of effort into how the whole thing looks. A lot of work goes into the thumbnails and everything, clipping all the content and the shorts. So yeah, do enjoy that. There's now 29 at this moment. There's 29 episodes up there, and soon to be 30. And that's it. Still rolling with the leadership community. Still working on a few things in there. I know I've been saying I'm going to open that up soon, and I will. And now that I'm back in a regular flow back here in Canggu in Bali, I should get that opened up, and I'm looking to launch with some stuff for designing 2025. So some workshops for around designing your new year strategy for the next year, which I should be loading into that community as well. So if you don't already subscribe or you haven't already joined the leadership community, do join. The link to the community is just below. And also follow me on X. I've been putting more content on X, on formerly known as Twitter. I don't know. There's a lot of people posting. Do you call it X or do you call it Twitter? I'm calling it X. So if you're on X, do follow me there. And that's it. Do check out the Will Adamy podcast, which will be launching on Wednesday, and then I'm recording another one this week with Welcome Felipe on Instagram. He's the owner of a co-working space and restaurant around here. That should be pretty interesting. So that's it from me, guys. Keep those anchors in. Take care of yourself. And I'll catch you next week. Hold fast.